Welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's still dark outside, but I see light coming into play. September 2019, we have from 2006, Gran Legacy. Look at that crown. I didn't know America was a kingdom, but apparently it is. And the copper pot still, which is probably not used to make Gran Legacy American blend. Look at that shield label and this beautiful plastic bottle, nothing like the thought of plastic. Blended whiskey with natural flavors, 80 proof. And it is bottled in Louisville by the Legacy Distilling Company, in other words, Sazerac. This 1,750 milliliter bottle cost me $10.99 plus tax at CVS Pharmacy. You had to use your CVS card. They just get you to do that so they can send you emails that I just delete. Somebody said liquor at a pharmacy. Yeah, well, they used to have tobacco there. And then they got all virtue signaling and said, oh, we're not going to sell it anymore. We're going to get rid of all our tobacco. And they had it like 80% off the last 2 weeks. So, boy, what a exciting time that was. Now, pretty soon, I guess they'll get rid of liquor, because that's the name of the game in 2019. Virtue signaling, false righteousness, all those transparent and obviously fake virtues. Okay, from corporate and governmental America. Triple Crown North American blended whiskey is the challenger. This is the older label. I bought this for $3.99. This 375 milliliter for $3.99, $3.99, $3.99, $3.99, $3.99. It's usually about $24 a bottle. Now, if you look at the website, there is no website for Gran Legacy, and they don't even list them on the CVS website that I could find. But they got a fancy bottle. It's a nice looking website for kind of just a 80-20 blend, 80% grain neutral spirits and 20% straight bourbon whiskey. But they're claiming, oh yeah, but we use really good grain. It's not just your run of the mill grain spirits. Let me tell you now. And maybe they're right. $3.75. So it's got oak extract added though. So they're showing that they won this award, the Innovation Award at the World Spirits Competition, Consumer Evaluated. They won the SIP Awards in 2019, a Platinum Award. They're showing a copper pot still at their distillery. Talk about the tradition of Triple Crown. They're showing a rickhouse with the barrels and all about Triple Crown and the whiskey flowing out the barrel, how to contact them. And then down below it says Triple Crown Distilling Company, Western Missouri. That's McCormick Distilling. Halliday Distillery. 80% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight bourbon whiskeys 2 years old. So it's straight bourbon. Contains oak extract. Whoa, oak extract. So it can't be called a bourbon because it's a blend of 80% grain spirits are unaged. You just take corn, you distill it to almost 100% alcohol. You can buy it. Go to Walmart, you can buy diesel. Maybe they sell that at Mathern's only around here. But you can buy Everclear, which is almost 100% alcohol. Very dangerous. You cannot drink it. I mean, you could if you have a death wish, but I saw they had some at the hot rod shop. I said, what's this for? And my friend David was saying, well, they use that to cook with and make concoctions. That's what it's made for. It's almost invariably in the USA, it's made out of corn, maize. Could you make it out of other grain? You can make grain neutral spirits out of any grain, but it has to be grain. Rice, barley, wheat, it doesn't matter. But since corn is government subsidized, which I do not support, strike me down behind that if you ever catch me supporting grain subsidies. But so it's cheaper, unnaturally cheap. Your tax dollar is helping ConAgra. Your tax dollar is helping the needy owners of Cargill. You see how that works? Now, you say, no, it's mom and pop farmers struggling. Right. That's the way you got to frame it. Anyway, if you're going to do corporate welfare, and so they make a lot of, you can make potato spirits, but that's a potato. That's not a grain. Okay. You could take beans, you could take soybeans and make grain spirit, legume spirits. But anyway, enough of that tutorial. Could you take grain neutral spirits and age it for 2 years in a never before used charred oak barrel and then have bourbon? Yes, you could. It's corn. Well, it would be 100% corn. Can you make 100% corn bourbon? Of course. The only the rule is that it has to be at least 51%. Well, 100 is at least 51. May not taste that good. That's to get straight bourbon. You could age it a year and just have regular bourbon, just bourbon. You say, but it wouldn't have any color. It'd be almost clear. It'd be just barely tan. Right. May not be marketable, but it would be bourbon. Okay, so bourbon is strict, but at the same time, not strict. You see what I'm saying? The guidelines are strict that you have to follow them, but the guidelines give you so much latitude that you could do whatever you want. Okay, now this came out in 2013, the Triple Crown. That says GL, Grand Legacy. All right, this is the other whiskey. All right, nah. Will I be able to tell them apart? I don't know, because I have a lot of experience with Triple Crown, as evidenced by not much left. I didn't have a lot of experience with Grand Legacy since I just started drinking it. Amber. It's just amber. Does it have coloring added? Well, it might, because blended whiskey, you can add coloring, caramel color. You can add flavoring, oak extract. You can take the straight bourbon, which cannot have coloring or flavoring added, but then you add it to the grain neutral spirits, neutral grain spirits. To both ways are correct. And then you can add a little blending sherry to add sherry. Blending sherry. You say sherry? You could do that. Okay, so the Grand Legacy, and you don't have to say you added flavoring. You just could do it as a courtesy. Now they're doing it as a courtesy. They're saying with natural flavors. Blended whiskey with natural flavors. Does a blended whiskey have to have natural flavors? No, it certainly does not have to have it. But then it may not have any taste. But it may have it. Doesn't have to, may, and almost assuredly does. And you read the website, could be up to 2%. U.S. government website, I think it's 2. They have it all. I don't have to remember everything when I have references, you know. That's why you could just look up an encyclopedia. I think it's up to 2% blending sherry, up to 2%. In Canada, up to 9.9%, 9.9. You say, well, that's practically 10% exactly. Flavoring. And that rule only applies to export if people ask for a certificate. But considering no one ever really asked for a certificate, except maybe like Japan might, Well, the Japanese they're slick. They'll institute all these unnecessary regulations. They say to protect safety, but it's really to protect their products. They try to ace people out, and they'll take a $25,000 car and they'll put so many regulations and taxes on it that it'll be, 55,000 on the market in Japan. But then they'll turn around and demand that all their cars be allowed to be sold in the United States virtually tax-free. And they say that's fair trade. And same thing with China. And so you have the administration trying to crack down on that, saying we want fair trade, free trade, but it has to be fair. You can't say, well, we put 80% tax on your product and you can put no tax on our product. And the administration is saying that's the old way of doing it with these other saps that were in office for the last 50 years. We got the new way. And it's called, if you want to play rough, we can play rough too. Now, but we don't want to play rough. We want to play fair, but it's up to you. So then you hear all the controversy about it. There is the dark, unusually dark. It's brown. It's brown. It's just brown like a 1976 Mercury Comet. 4-door with brown vinyl interior and the metallic brown exterior. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of brown. I have to kind of avoid looking at it because there is a shade difference here. So is all blended whiskey bad, like people on the internet say? Because if people on the internet say it, it's got to be true, right? Because people are always saying everything on the internet. It's bad to drink beer with flavoring. And they'll tell me, why are you drinking that ale with flavoring, idiot? No. I say, I don't know, because I'm dumb. I got no sense. I'm a fool. I'm a moron. I'm a dictator. I'm a boss. And I say, well, I got you. I realized that when we drink beer, it should be Reinheitsgebot. Strict rules of the game. But then the next day, I see the person posting in one of the Facebook groups, oh, this is a wonderful coffee stout with chocolate nibs. I said, whoa, hold on, boss. What happened to the flavoring thing? They get angry then. Those arbitrary rules only apply to macro beer. Mass produced. Well, what's mass produced? Depends on what you're talking about. I say, oh, you mean like Samuel Adams? Oh, no. You see, we changed the rules. They're allowed to be a craft brewery. Because when they get real big, we just raise the bar of what can be considered mass produced versus craft, you see. Oh, I never could understand those arbitrary applications of things. Drewski Brewski says, cheers, Ronald the Riot. Hey, good morning, Drewski Brewski. It's the AM. It's the morning time. Now daylight appears. Here we go with the taste challenge. Come one, come all. And observe a person at his home in an office with a comic book backdrop, tasting various and sundry drinks, in particular blended whiskey this morning, which happens to be flavored with who knows what, and obviously colored with caramel coloring, and away we go. I wanted to say it smelled like ham glaze, but I know that's not right. You say whiskey that smells like ham glaze. Interesting. I know, right? It's not. But you get some real weird. Oh, it's blended with. That was my whole rant when I started. I said, does that mean it's bad if it's blended whiskey? I don't know. Do you think millions of people every hour drink Crown Royal blended Canadian whiskey because they think it's bad and they hate it? And they drink Johnny Walker Blended Scotch whiskey every day. Thousands of people every hour drink it because they think it's terrible. The #1 selling Scotch in the world. Seagram 7 Crown, one of the top selling whiskeys in America. You think people drink it because they think it's terrible every day of their life? I don't know. I just got a feeling that's not what they're thinking. You say, but if it ain't single malt, then it's a terrible fault. I like single malt. I always like single malt. Okay. I love single malt Scotch whiskey ever since it fixed the World Series in 1919. All right. Heard you had a little trouble. Stupid people behaving that way with guns. Okay. So that's kind of musty and pungent and like an old warehouse in Missouri or something like that. But I'm not sure. I swear I'm not sure. Oh. Now over here, I think I'm picking up a lot more grain neutral spirits. And what do I mean? You say it's neutral. It's got no aroma or flavor. Well, that's what they allege. That's what they try to achieve, but it never really comes out that way. It's like cornstarch. You say cornstarch. Well, think about it. They're taking a corn product or whatever it is, and they're distilling it down to pure grain alcohol. Well, you know, it still carries that corn thing. And sometimes with the Heaven Hill be coming across like a honeydew melon, you say, ooh, yeah, I know it has like off. This one kind of has that a little bit. This is kind of making me think that maybe this is the Triple Crown, but I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really know. What's cheaper? Obviously, I just told you. The Gran Legacy going to be about $10.99 for the huge jug bottle. Triple Crown going to be about $24 for a 750 milliliter bottle. The bottle's going to be much nicer looking. It's fancy pants. People might say, ooh, what's that? Oh, it's a whiskey from Missouri, boy. It's bottled in Missouri. You say, is it made in Missouri? Well, please do not ask these difficult questions to me at this party. Let's focus on the unique bottle design. Okay. Do I think it's really worth $24 relative to the $10.99? No way, Jose. Would I ever pay $24 for the fancy bottle of Triple Crown? No, I would not. Why did I buy that bottle? Because it was $3.99 at Discount Depot, half-size bottle. I figured, what the heck? I'm giving it a try. So even without tasting it, the Gran Legacy wins. It wins. Because I know it's not going to be any worse. Or if it is, it ain't going to be much worse. And you're getting way more for way less. And that's a good thing. Way more for way less. People play games, friend. Just tastes like regular old whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Like some standard commodity. There's a little oak in it. There's a Kansas City Southern. They're always going eastbound at this time in the morning. Why do they always go eastbound? I don't know their schedule, but it's always eastbound. In the evening, it'd be westbound. Explain that. Now, a little oak, but it could be from oak extract. I don't know. It's just basic. You say, oh, come on, man. Nobody's buying this stuff to do taste challenges and swirl it around and try to get all kind of attributes from it. They're just buying it, mixing it with Pepsi Cola and drinking it on ice. Yeah, I know. I know that. I do know that. I'm not trying to be flip about it. I know. I'm doing what isn't really meant to be done with these. Maybe the Triple Crown, because they're talking about on the website how fabulous it is and everything. Yeah, this one has like a little more wood taste. Like, you know, wood that tastes like actual wood. Like, you know, like it was in a barrel. And like toothpick wood, though. You know, not charred. What about the charred oak? Nah. Just like toothpick wood, because, man, you know, they might be using barrels from 1964. They just keep reusing the barrels. It only has to be fresh, never before used, charred, white oak. Doesn't have to be white oak, but oak with bourbon. Everything else you use barrel. They don't throw those barrels away. Oh, no, 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 no. It might even be renting them out or selling them off, renting them out, leasing them out to beer companies. Now, a lot of times when I say lease the barrel out, that doesn't mean they send in the barrel to the beer company. No. What it means is they got barrel space available, and the beer company sends the beer to the distillery, and they put the beer in the barrels there. Yeah, because when I was at Bardstown, they the lady says, you know, most of the barrels in here are not containing whiskey. She said, you want to guess what it's aging? I raised my hand. I said, rum. I said, no. What am I saying? I said, brandy. She said, right. Many of these warehouses age Paul Masson brandy. We have a contract to age Paul Masson brandy. I knew that because I had read their website. Paul Masson is aged in bourbon barrels. That's why it has a unique flavor. And it's the VSOP is aged at least 4 years. What they do is they take VSOP, Paul Masson VSOP. Oh, well, they make it in New York or California, depending on which side, because it's made in both places. And they age it for 4 years in the bourbon barrel. That's the VSOP. Now the VS is only like 2 years. And then they got some more fancy ones. They got real expensive Paul Masson, might be aged 8-10 years in bourbon barrels. But if you want to pay, if you want to play, you're going to pay. You know, you could pay about $14 and get the Paul Masson VSOP, and it'll have a lot of nice character. Now you can step up your game and get the Paul Masson, you know, go up the ladder and get the real highfalutin. But I think most of those are sold in California. You can't really even get them around here. I've seen them with those heart-shaped bottles. I said, ooh, bet that costs a pretty penny. This tastes sweet. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly corn. It's not overly grain spirits. It's just not overly anything. It's just like predominantly kind of bland, but there's no burn. No alcohol burn. Burns. It burns. It was regular old tap water. It wasn't even holy water. All right. There's a little candy sweetness over here, but gosh, heck, dang, and say what? These are both kind of like very similar. Let's see all of these comments. Samuel Adams Quality went to Boo Boo when they became mass produced. Ronnie says, Ronald the man with the whiskey plan. Drewski Brewski says, Ronnie, yes, cheers, man. Ronnie S says, wood staves taste. Hey, Drew. It's not really a wood staves taste. It's just like I said, barrels that's been used and used and used and used and used and used. If you took tea bags, you could use a tea bag to make tea again and again. But then by like the third time, you would say, well, this is not tea. This is like tea flavored water. Exactly. That's what would happen. And that's what they do with Canadian Mist. Go watch the video for Canadian Mist whiskey. It's about an hour long. But their brand representative tells, he said, look, I'm paraphrasing, but he's saying it's made to be dull. They take Canadian whiskey and they age it in a used Jack Daniels barrel. He said, so it's going to only pick up half because all the charcoal is going into that Jack Daniels. It's sucking it all up. He said, it'd be like if you took a tea bag and you use it the second time. On the second run, it would be, watered down, which is the way Canadian Mist was designed to be. You're still getting 80 proof, but it's a very watery flavor. Now you say, well, who in the world would want to drink that? Actually, a lot of people like watery products. I don't know why, bland. I see people all the time. Now you think Louisiana, everything is hot food around here? Spicy hot? Not really. Most people I know, I'll see them eating eggs and grits. I'll say, hey, you want some hot sauce and pepper? They say, oh, no. It's just like a myth. Now, maybe here in the river parishes, it'd be spicier per capita. Because when I used to, but that was a long time ago. When I went to elementary school, that's 40 years ago. The white beans, the red beans and sausage, the jambalaya, the spaghetti meatballs would light you up. Those old ladies, those old German and Cajun ladies, Scheck Schneider, Wagensbach, Boudreaux, Tomplin, they're cooking in there. But after a while, you get used to it. Even like you're 7, 8 years old, you eating spaghetti and meatballs that's so fiery hot, you like wiping your forehead, the sweat off your forehead. Pretty soon, everything tastes bland. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you eat regular food, then it doesn't, in your mind, you say, this has no flavor. But probably if I went to those public schools today, it'd be a much less hot, because now we got MTV and CNN and everything's globalized. So that means it's blanded it down. It's not going to be hot like that. And I remember a lot of kids would come in from Illinois or Indiana or who knows where, Minnesota, because their parents worked at Marathon, DuPont, Monsanto, around here, American Cyanamid, because we number chemical plants up and down the river. Nalco, Cargill, there's a huge Cargill facility here. And they come and they would just be shocked. These students would be just, oh, I can't eat this, it's too hot. By the end of the school year, they'll never go back to bland food. Because once you do it, you can't go back. It's like you can't unsee it. And you can't untaste it. All right. I'm going to tell you what they are. I think I know. Because this one here is catching my mind's attention, the splinter of the mind's eye. It's catching my mind's attention because it has an unusual oaky flavor. A little too unusual. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit too much oak for what I'm dealing with. This other one over here is just like wood, toothpick wood. So therefore and forthwith, I think it's got to be the Triple Crown. Now, which one tastes better? There's a good question. I want to, oh, never mind. Cancel. I was saying I want to do a rum taste challenge later. I'm not doing a rum taste challenge later on because the Friday slot is already taken by Fandango Friday with a focus on vodka, unfortunately. James P. Madonna's like, well, I got these little bottles of vodka. And he was kind of demanding, you will buy vodka. You will. I said, okay. So I bought it. Platinum 7X. That's what it's called. Platinum 7X vodka. No big deal. You say, well, he sounds pushy. He demands a lot. I like pushy, demanding people because they got a mindset of what they want to do. So I didn't say I always give in to them. Sometimes I refuse and then they get angry, but I don't care. But I like them. I like dealing with pushy, demanding people. He said, what about those flavored vodkas? I found out they were just liqueurs, which means it's probably flavored vodka, but they don't say that on the bottle. I got the bananas and the root beer from the 99 brand. Nice little website too. I said, okay, I got all 3 bottles now. You happy? Because now you can get your way 3 times. Well, you can somewhat get your way. You know, he doesn't really get his way because he wants Fandango Friday to be totally out of control. Like a wild, out of control hangout with every kind of language and joke and behavior. I said, well, that ain't going to happen on my channel. You can do it on your channel. Oh, he got mad, you know. He said, you're a religious fanatic and y'all are in a cult and you don't want to have fun and you're buttoned down and you don't want to ever loosen up. I said, we like being in a cult. And that's, and what we call, you know, we like being straight-laced and very buttoned down. That's exotic to us. Being buttoned down and straight and having no fun is a lot of fun to us. This is the Triple Crown. Is it better? Sweet sugar. I guess you could make that argument. It's better. It's like if you have more of a sweet tooth over here. Huh? And over here, okay, all right, I'm getting to, over here would be if you have more of a wood appreciation. Okay, so if you want a cheap whiskey that has a lot of wood flavor, and I mean like it's actually been in wood, this will be one. Got a little strange honeydew melon taste. You say, see what you get with these cheap ones? I mean, I know already. I think that's Gran Legacy. Is Gran Legacy fabulous? What did I say on my solo review? I gave it a B-, an 80. It's marginally good. You could make the argument it's not actually even good. I wouldn't take issue with that. All right. Over here, it's good, but it's cheating. You know, they add flavor. Well, all right. All these blended whiskeys cheat and add flavor. Okay. So Triple Crown, it better not say GL on it because it says GL. That's Gran Legacy, folks. Oh, man. Pump. Well, I feel so played and embarrassed and shamed and bad. I just feel bad. You know how you feel right now? Oh, I feel way worse because I got it wrong. Brew Review says, oof, up early for some editing and saw you were live, laughing out loud. Hey, Brew Review. It's the Brew Review on the internet. I appreciate you watching. I try to watch all my subscribers. You know, I mean, the people I'm subscribed to. I watch them all. And I usually comment, not always. All right, so I got to remember that the Gran Legacy. Okay, the Gran Legacy has that sweet sugar taste. Kind of like Lagunitas brown sugar. I'm not joking about that because that's very sugary, like molasses brown sugar, and this is like that. So in my mind, now I got to remember, Gran Legacy, sugar candy, rock candy, big rock candy mountain, the whiskey top candy mountain. I got to remember that. And then I got to remember Triple Crown is more of just wood. It is oak extract, you know, wood. All right, so okay, don't give me too much business. Don't go too hard on me because I just started drinking Gran Legacy. Now look how much I got left. Whoa. Now, after I get some more experience with it, then I'm going to know more better for the product. Okay, so give me some time. I got about 3 years on that, you know, doing these little taste challenges with little bitty, tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny tasting. It's going to take me some time. And like Karen Carpenter says, it's going to take some time this time to get myself in shape. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it right. So we're going to close this extraordinary out. It's been fun. I got it wrong. I don't feel so bad. So we're about to roll out with the top up. Okay. Daylight. Thank you. Daylight.
That's the same atrocious aftershave you wore in court 3 years ago.
Yeah, I keep getting it for Christmas.
Did you get my car?
I got it, thank you.
And how is Officer Stewart? The one who was first to see my patient.
Stuart's fine.
Emotional problems, I hear. Do you have any problems with him?
No.
Yeah, of course you do.